I'm David Wessel, director of the Hutchins Center on Fiscal and Monetary Policy at Brookings. A lot of people argue that the Federal Reserve contributed to the increase in inequality in the United States. The appealingly simple story goes something like this.
And the biggest contributor I can think of to that income inequality that the president's concerned about is the policy of quantitative easing, which held down interest rates, caused the stock market to rise. People who have a lot of stocks made a lot of money. Income inequality was therefore increased.
If you have access to credit, if you've got a big balance sheet, the Fed has made you richer. And so I would say this has been, in some sense, reverse Robin Hood.
The Fed cut interest rates to zero back in 2008. Then it bought trillions of dollars worth of bonds. It's called quantitative easing. That pushed investors into stocks, real estate, and other assets. Prices of those assets went up. The rich hold the bulk of those assets. They benefited a lot. Everyone else, not so much. Now, monetary policy, whether it's old-style changes in interest rates or newfangled quantitative easing, always creates winners and losers. Lower interest rates are better for borrowers and worse for lenders. And in this case, the Fed was using quantitative easing to prevent another Great Depression. If the Fed's actions reduced unemployment, surely that reduced inequality. To figure out how the Fed's recent moves affected inequality, the Hutchins Center asked Josh Bivens, an economist at the Economic Policy Institute, to consider what would have happened to inequality under alternative policies. Drawing from research by other economists, Bivens estimates that the first two rounds of the Fed's quantitative easing did pack a punch. They raised stock prices by about 5% and home prices by about 7% compared to what they would otherwise have been. People who own those assets clearly were helped more than people who didn't. The Fed could have stepped aside and let Congress pursue spending increases and tax cuts that would have helped the economy and reduce inequality. Now, Congress could have done that, but the Fed couldn't count on it. Had there been no action by the Fed and no action by Congress, that would have meant even more unemployment than we had, lower wages than we had, and, the evidence on this is clear, even more inequality than we have today. For more on our conversation about the Fed and inequality, click here.